Welcome to Wild West Garage. My name is Morgan, and I'm standing in front of the 1950 Chevy cab here again. And I don't know if you can see from here, but this cab corner is tacked on. So it's kind of a process. So that's all this video is going to be about. You're going to watch me tack this on here. I'm going to talk about it and talk about why I do it, and at some point in the clip coming up I try to explain why I do this the way I do it. So actually maybe what I'll do right now is I'll draw a little picture, and it'll make it a lot more clear. So I hope this makes it more clear. So what I did was, and you'll see this, I tacked it here first, and I just kept moving along, tacking, right? And pulling this, so this red line, I guess you could say, could represent the patch. And this blue line represents the original sheet metal. So if I laid this on here and say I thought, oh, this is touching here, and I tacked this here, tacked it here, and then tacked it over here. When I go to try to move this blue line to the red line, it's a shorter distance, right? So this isn't going to go here. You're going to have to shrink the red piece or expand the blue piece to make it to come together, right? Same here. See, this is taking a shortcut around the corner. So there's no way if I have this tacked here, tacked here, tacked here, tacked, so what I do, there's no way that's going to go together nice. So what I do is I just keep tacking along here, pulling this together as I go, and then it all ends up being the same length. When we get to the end, there's no conflict. It just goes together nice. So even if I got it fitting visually, with a bunch of clecos or whatever and some tabs, if I put a bunch of clecos along here, then it might go okay. But then I got a bunch of holes to fill, so I wasn't really interested in that. I had, as it was, I put 3 cleco holes in there to assist me in fitting it. But that's not bad, just to have to fill 3 holes. So, anyways, I think the next clip is pretty long, but it just shows you what it takes to do this, and I think this is the right way to do it. I've got this thing fitting pretty well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start tacking it together. Actually, I might just go for it. I'm just not sure of the length of this, just because it's not sitting exactly on here. This line is not totally lined up. Like it's a little bit different shape. I don't know, I think it's going to be pretty good. So I'm just going to go for it. Probably wondering why I don't have this all clamped on here. And that's because if I did that, one of these pieces might end up longer than the other. You know what I mean? If this is in here, like it matches up pretty good, but it goes in here. So I just want to keep tacking it along, and then I know it's going to be the same length when it gets out to the. If I tacked it here, if I put a tack in it here now, I'll end up with a short. This will be too short. I don't know if you get that, but I just need to keep. Just if I tack it from this end, it'll just all come out nice. Now I'm going to have to dolly some of these tacks because it's not letting me. I got to move this down. So if I hit these, it'll move that down. Tack just broke there. I didn't think that was a very good one. Got my welder set on 3. It's a 140 miller. So I want these tacks to be hot, quick. I don't want to hang around here for too long with a bunch of heat build up. This is pretty forgiving because it's a curve. So I don't have to worry about warpage so much. Burn through. starting to overlap here, so I got to open it up again. Because this is 18 gauge, and this is maybe, I don't know if it's 20 or 22 gauge, I'm letting this panel stick out a little bit. It's not flush with that. I just figured I got, if I'm gonna, when it comes time to metal finish this, I want to be if anything, I want to be grinding onto the 18 gauge. If I have to thin it out a little bit, I don't want to thin this out. It's already way too thin. So when you weld something, the red hot metal, as it cools it shrinks, and that's why it keeps closing up this gap. Lining up. Okay. Now I've got to do a little work on lining up this here. End up with a little low spot here. That's better. So, take you in for a closer look. We've got a good gap all the way along. All the contours look nice. Ended up lining up pretty much perfectly down here. Burned a hole through there, so I had to fill it all in. Anyways, I'm real happy with this, the way this turned out. It's nice to see that on there. Okay, so there we go. We're all done. I went ahead and ground the spot welds down and welded this out. And you know, for a long time I you know, for welding panels together like this, I always kind of thought you had to be really careful and, you know, like weld a little bit here, cool it, come over here, weld a little bit more over here, like maybe half an inch or so or an inch, cool it, jump into the middle, cool it, just keep going, bouncing around like that. And that holds true for I think on a lot of flatter stuff, like say if you're going to put a patch in the bottom of this door here, you'd want to do that. You'd want to jump around like that and keep it cool to control the warping. But on a piece like this, on a corner like this, and I pretty much proved that to myself today. And part of the reason I went ahead and did it this way was I can get access to the back. So if it did warp, I could just hammer and dolly it and shrink it or whatever I had to do. But anyway, so what I did, ground the tacks off, started here, and just kept spotting it, overlapping spot welds. And you know, I might have welded a 3/8 of an inch stretch, and mostly over top of the spot welds. And I just kept going. I just kept going all the way around until I got to here. I didn't stop. I didn't cool it. I didn't, you know, anything. And then I went ahead and filled in these 3 Cleco holes that I've got here, and it came out mint. Like, you know, there's no warpage issues at all. So I think, you know, on a rounded piece like this on a corner, it just swells out a bit maybe, and then shrinks back a little bit. But because it can move, because it's on this curve, it doesn't go all crazy on you. So anyways, that worked out really well. I'm really happy with that. And you know, this method I used of tacking this, like using, I call it the zipper method. Start here and just zip it on, right? I didn't come up with that. Wasn't my, you know, I would have never tried that if it wasn't for a guy named Bob, I guess Bobby Walden. He's got a shop down in, I think, Los Angeles, and they do a lot of 30s Fords. Anyways, he introduced me to that method of stitching it. I watched a video of him putting a roof insert in on a coupe, and so he formed the panel, set it down on the roof, scribed it, cut to a scribe, and then he had some support fixtures. I think they were little, like those little tabs that I have, and then to hold it up. And then he just started in one spot, made a series of tacks, and then did some hammer and dolly work, because what would happen is he'd make a few tacks and that whole thing the whole roof skin would move around, come out of alignment. So then he'd do some dolly work to move it back, and he just kept going around like that till it was all done. And then he did the same thing. Because he could get access to the back, he said, you know, this thing's going to warp anyways. So he just started on one and just went all the way around welding it. And then, you know, any warpage happened, he just hammered and dollied it out. So, you know, if you can get access to the back, just go for it. Just weld it. You know, it's gonna move around anyways. You're gonna have to do hammer and dolly work anyway. So, anyways, thanks, Bob. That was a great help to me. And you know, there's been many people on YouTube that have helped me over the years, and I've been watching people do things like this, making this cab corner. I made this cab corner in my head so many times until I actually made it. Well, actually, with this method, with the English wheel method, I didn't have an English wheel, so I just had to fantasize about it. So, but anyways, guys like Lazzy, I don't know if you've watched him, Ron Covell, Ray Shaleen, Kent White. You know, I don't know. There's a lot more, but I can't. You know, those are my favorites, really. Gene Winfield, 94 years old. I think he's still alive. Hope he's doing well. And then lately, there's a couple of guys that they're. I'm going to call them local because they're Canadians. The closest one to me is Carl Fisher, Make It Custom. Real enthusiastic young guy, super talented, all-around car guy. He focuses mainly on metal shaping, so I watch a lot of his videos. He's had great success on YouTube. Good for you, Carl. And another guy who's kind of on the opposite personality spectrum to Carl is a guy named, I think his name is Kyle. Carter's Auto Restyling. He's a master at repairing old rusty fenders and cracked fenders and dented, mangled metal. So he'll take something that looks like a complete piece of garbage and bring it back to nice. So not so much, I haven't noticed him doing any scratch built panels, but the way he brings back like a thing like this battered fender here, he'd take that and just it would look awesome. So anyways, thanks to all you willing participants, guys that are willing to share their knowledge. I'm kind of hoping I could be kind of part of that club, I guess you could say. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, none of this knowledge is really my knowledge. It's just been passed on from person to person. I'm just rehashing it all. I'm just reproducing what's already been done, I guess you could say. But I'm enjoying it. I think a few of you, obviously, I have some subscribers and they keep coming back. So anyways, thank you everyone. Thank you for content creators. Thank you to the people that watch this stuff. Thank you for the people that have made comments. Thank you for everyone that's given me a thumbs up. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I appreciate all that. So I'm going to keep going here and see what happens. Thanks. See you next time.